Evan Hale did not believe in miracles, aliens, or destiny. He believed in numbers, broken machines, and long nights fixing things that other people ignored. That belief had served him well for 27 quiet years. He worked as a junior systems engineer in a city that never really slept, but never truly woke either. His life followed routines so predictable that even he sometimes forgot he was living it. That night, Evan stayed late at work. A power fluctuation had damaged several network relays on the edge of the city, and no one else volunteered to fix them. He packed his tools, put on his jacket, and rode his old electric bike through empty streets glowing under pale streetlights. The air was cold and calm, almost too calm. As he reached the industrial district, the sky changed. At first, Evan thought it was lightning. But lightning did not burn green and violet, nor did it fall silently from the clouds like a slow, burning tear in the sky. The air vibrated. His bike shut down instantly, lights flickering before dying completely. Evan skidded to a stop and stared upward, heart pounding. Something was falling. It did not crash like a meteor. It slowed, wobbling, clearly not meant to fall at all. It struck an empty construction yard with a deep, heavy sound, sending dust and sparks into the air. The ground shook just enough for Evan to feel it through his boots. Every part of his brain screamed at him to run. Instead, he walked forward. The construction yard was fenced, but a broken section hung loose. Evan slipped through, holding his breath. The object was half buried in dirt and metal beams, smoking softly. It was smooth and curved, made of a material he had never seen before. Dark, reflective, almost alive. Then the surface split open. Evan froze. Light spilled out, soft and blue, followed by a sound like a sigh. A figure stepped out slowly, unsteady on her feet. She looked human at first glance. That was what confused him the most. She had 2 arms, 2 legs, a face shaped like his own species, but her skin shimmered faintly, patterns glowing beneath it like living stars. Her eyes were larger, silver instead of white, and her hair floated as if gravity had forgotten it. She looked around, blinking, then focused on Evan. Her face lit up. "Oh," she said in clear, careful English. "I found you." Evan tried to speak. Nothing came out. She walked closer, studying him with open curiosity. No fear, no caution. She stopped an arm's length away and tilted her head. "You look exactly like the recordings," she said, less confident though. Evan swallowed. You were real." "Yes," she replied. "That is correct." His legs finally remembered how fear worked. He stumbled back.
"You're an alien," she nodded. "Also correct." Silence stretched between them, heavy and unreal.
Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed, far away but growing closer. The girl frowned slightly, as if listening to something Evan could not hear. Then she looked back at him and smiled again, warm and honest.
"I should say this now," she said,
"before complications occur." She placed one glowing hand over her chest.
"You are my first human crush." Evan laughed.
It burst out of him, suddenly, sharp and shaky. "Yeah, I hit my head. This is shock." The girl's smile faded. That response was predicted, but still disappointing. She reached out and touched his wrist. Evan felt a brief warmth, not painful, but intense. Images flashed in his mind. Stars, strange cities, human broadcasts, news clips, rescue footage. His own face appeared on one screen, tired and dirty, helping strangers after a disaster years ago. Evan gasped and pulled back. "That was real," he whispered. "Yes," she said softly. "I chose you because of that moment. You stayed when others fled. You were statistically inefficient." "That's not a reason," Evan said. "It is to me." The sirens were louder now. The girl looked back at her damaged craft. My arrival was not ideal. Others will notice soon.
Others? Evan asked. She met his eyes.
My people and yours. Panic finally took control. You can't be here if anyone sees you. They will, she said. Soon. She stepped closer again, lowering her voice. I require assistance and trust. Evan rubbed his face, mind racing. Everything he knew about the world was breaking apart in real time. Yet somehow, the most terrifying part was how calm she was.
Why me?
He asked again. Because humans are loud, she said. But you were quiet when it mattered. Footsteps echoed beyond the fence. The girl's glowing patterns dimmed. Decision time, Evan Hale. He looked at the dark sky, the broken ship, and the impossible girl standing before him. Then he sighed. Okay, he said. Okay, I'll help. Her smile returned, brighter than before. That was the moment Evan's ordinary life ended, and humanity's quiet reputation began to change. Evan did not remember deciding where to go. His feet moved on their own, pulling him away from the broken construction yard and the smoking alien craft. The girl followed closely, her steps light and quiet, as if the ground barely mattered to her. The sirens grew louder behind them. Joined by the low hum of drones cutting through the night air, they slipped through narrow streets and empty alleys. Evan's heart beat so hard it hurt. Every shadow felt dangerous. Every sound made him flinch. He had fixed machines under pressure before, but this was different. Machines did not look at him with glowing eyes and say his name like it meant something special. They reached an old storage building near the river, long abandoned and forgotten by most people. Evan had worked nearby once and remembered that the back door did not lock properly. He pushed it open and waved her inside. The air smelled like dust and rust, but it was quiet, safe, at least for the moment. Evan closed the door and leaned against it, breathing hard. Okay, he said, voice shaking.
Okay, you're here.
You're real, and you're hiding with me. The girl watched him carefully. Your breathing pattern suggests panic, she said.
No kidding. She tilted her head. Should I apologize? Evan laughed weakly.
I don't even know what for. She took a step closer. For changing your life without permission. That stopped him. He looked at her again, really looked this time. She did not seem dangerous. Strange, yes. Impossible. Definitely. But there was something honest in her expression, something open. What's your name? He asked. I am called Lyra, she said. Among my people. Lyra, Evan repeated. I'm Evan. You already know that. Yes. Evan Hale, age 27. Systems engineer. Lives alone. Avoids conflict. Has strong empathy responses despite denying emotional importance. He stared.
You really did your homework. I studied humanity, Lyra said. You were part of that study.
Evan pushed off the door and walked deeper into the building, running a hand through his hair. You can't just show up and say something like that. A crush? What does that even mean to you? Lyra followed him, movement smooth and careful. It means focused interest combined with emotional curiosity. It is rare among my species. Rare how? She paused as if choosing words. We are taught to avoid emotional attachment. It leads to irrational decisions, inefficient outcomes. Walls. Evan stopped and turned to her. So why you? Why now? Because humans are different, Lyra said simply. She raised her hand, and a small holographic image appeared above her palm. It showed a human city after a massive storm, buildings damaged, streets flooded. Evan recognized it immediately. It was from years ago. He had been there. That event was broadcast across several information networks, Lyra said. Most species observed it as data. Casualties. Infrastructure damage.
Recovery time. The image shifted.
Evan saw himself, younger, covered in dirt and rain, helping lift debris off trapped people. You stayed, Lyra continued, despite personal risk, despite no reward. Evan looked away. Anyone would have done that. No, she said gently. Many watched. Few acted. The hologram faded.
That moment created an anomaly,
Lyra said.
I wanted to understand it.
And you... Evan felt a strange tightness in his chest.
So, I'm a science project. At first, Lyra admitted. But then I learned more. She looked around the empty building.
You help strangers. You repair systems that others ignore. You feel fear, yet you move forward. Evan sighed.
You make it sound heroic. It didn't feel that way. That is another human trait, Lyra said.
You do not see your own strength. Before Evan could respond, a distant mechanical buzz filled the air. He stiffened.
They're searching, Lyra said. Your authorities.
And others? Others? Evan asked.
Her glowing patterns dimmed slightly. My people detected my distress signal when the craft failed. Evan's stomach dropped.
So, aliens are coming? More aliens?
Yes. How long? Hours, she said. Perhaps less. Evan rubbed his face.
This is insane. I agree, Lyra said. But I am glad it is happening with you.
He looked at her, unsure how to respond to that. The buzzing grew louder, passing overhead.
We can't stay here, Evan said.
They'll find us. I can reduce detection, Lyra replied, but only temporarily.
She touched a device on her wrist. The air around them shimmered briefly, then settled. That will help, she said.
But not forever, Evan paced. His mind raced through options, most of them terrible.
If the government finds you, they'll take you. Lock you up.
Study you, yes, Lyra said calmly.
That outcome is highly probable. And your people? Evan asked. They will retrieve me, she said.
And isolate Earth until risk is assessed.
Risk,
Evan echoed. Emotional contamination, Lyra said.
Me.
Evan stopped pacing.
You.
Yeah.
Attachment to humans may spread. He let out a dry laugh. You're telling me liking us is dangerous. It changes us, she said. Change is feared. Silence settled between them. So what do you want? Evan asked quietly.
Lyra met his eyes. To stay.
To learn. To choose.
Evan swallowed. That's a big ask.
I know, she said. That is why I asked you. A loud metallic clang echoed nearby. Evan flinched.
Search units, Lyra said. They're closer. Evan made a decision before fear could stop him. There's a place. Underground maintenance tunnels by the river.
No cameras, no drones. Her eyes brightened. You planned ahead.
I fix systems,
he said.
I know where people don't look.
They moved quickly, slipping out through a back exit and down toward the riverbank. The city lights reflected off dark water, unaware of how close it was to history changing. As they descended into the tunnel entrance, Evan glanced at Lyra. You know, this puts me in danger. Yes, she said.
And you're okay with that?
She hesitated.
I do not want you harmed.
But you knew it might happen.
Yes.
Evan nodded slowly.
Humans do that too. We protect things we care about, even when it hurts.
Lyra watched him with something like wonder.
That is why I chose you.
They disappeared into the darkness just as lights swept over the riverbank above, far above them. Signals crossed space. Human systems flagged anomalies. Alien sensors focused on Earth. Quiet calculations were replaced by uncertainty. And for the first time, humanity was not being watched simply as a species, but as a feeling worth risking everything for. The tunnels were older than the city above them. Thick concrete walls were stained by years of moisture, and old pipes ran along the ceiling like metal veins. Evan moved with practiced ease, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. Lyra walked beside him, her eyes adjusting naturally, glowing faintly enough to see without light. For a while, neither of them spoke. The sounds of the city faded, replaced by dripping water and the distant hum of machines. Evan finally slowed and stopped near a sealed maintenance room. He unlocked it with a manual override and stepped inside. It was small, but dry, filled with outdated equipment and crates covered in dust. "This is as safe as it gets," Evan said, "for now." Lyra looked around, absorbing everything. "You built shelters for your systems," she said.
Even when they were no longer useful. People forget about things, Evan replied, but they don't disappear. She considered that.
Evan sat on a crate, exhaustion catching up with him.
"You said your people are coming." "Yes,"
Lyra said.
They are cautious. Earth was already classified as unstable.
"Unstable?" Evan repeated.
"We're doing our best. I know," she said quickly. "That is why I argued against isolation." "You argued?" Evan asked. She nodded. "Before I left, I suggested direct emotional study. They rejected it."
"So you ran away?" "I did not run," Lyra said. "I volunteered."
"Without permission," Evan said.
Yes!
He smiled faintly. "You really are learning from us." Lyra tilted her head.
Is that good? Sometimes, Evan said. Sometimes it's a mess. A soft vibration passed through the tunnel walls.
Evan stiffened. That didn't sound human.
No,
Lyra said.
"They are scanning?" She raised her wrist device again, but this time it flickered. "It is weakening," she said.
"My technology was damaged in the landing." Evan felt cold.
So, time's running out?
Evan stood and paced again. "Okay. If your people find you, they take you."
If our people find you, they take you. Either way, you lose your choice.
"That is correct," Lyra said. "And if you stay hidden?" Evan asked. "Conflict escalates," she replied. "My people do not like uncertainty." Evan stopped pacing.
Then we change the equation.
Lyra looked at him.
How?
He hesitated.
You said they fear emotional contamination. Yes. So what if they see it? Evan said. What if they see what humans actually are instead of just data? That would be
unprecedented, Lyra said. Humans are good at that, Evan said quietly. Showing up. Lyra studied his face. "You are afraid."
"Terrified," Evan admitted.
"But I don't like bullies, even space ones." She smiled softly. Another vibration rolled through the tunnel, stronger this time. Dust fell from the ceiling.
They are closer, Lyra said. I must warn you.
About what?
If my people decide Earth is a threat, she said slowly, they will not attack.
They will withdraw everything. Trade. Information. Protection. Evan frowned. Protection from what? Lyra met his eyes. The rest of the galaxy. That hit harder than Evan expected.
"You're saying you've been shielding us?"
"Yes," Lyra said, quietly. Evan exhaled. "So, we're not small. We're just watched. Yes, and now you're risking all of that, he said. For choice, she replied. For connection. Silence stretched again. Above them, in the sky beyond human sight, alien vessels slid into position. Their designs were smooth, elegant, and cold. Sensors swept the planet carefully, locking on to faint traces of Lyra's signal. Inside one of those ships, observers watched Earth with concern. Emotional instability, rapid reactions, unpredictable bonding. Humans were fascinating and dangerous. Back in the tunnel, Evan made another decision.
You said humans act even when it costs us, he said. Yes. Well, Evan said, straightening his shoulders, it's time you show them. He pulled out his communicator and powered it on.
Lyra's eyes widened. That will reveal us, she said. Not just us, Evan replied. All of us. He opened a live emergency channel and began transmitting raw data. Lyra's presence, her words, her choice, no filters, no commands, just truth. What are you doing? Lyra asked, alarmed.
Letting humans decide, Evan said. We're allowed, remember?
Signals exploded across networks. Alarms rang in monitoring stations, screens filled with impossible images. An alien girl standing calmly beside a human man in a forgotten tunnel. Reactions were immediate. Confusion, fear, denial. And then something else. Curiosity. Messages flooded in, not demands. Questions.
Are you safe? Do you need help? Is this real?
Lyra stared at the device, overwhelmed.
They are
responding emotionally.
Yeah, Evan,
said Burner.
That's kind of our thing.
The alien ships paused their advance. Observers watched the data streams with disbelief. Humans were not panicking. They were reaching out.
This is inefficient, one alien analyst said. Another replied, or adaptive.
In the tunnel, Lyra felt something shift inside her, something warm and frightening. This is why, she whispered. This is why humans are different. Evan glanced at her.
Welcome to the mess.
Above Earth, the alien fleet recalculated. For the first time in recorded history, humanity was not reacting to the unknown with fear, but with open hands, and the galaxy was watching. The response from humanity spread faster than anyone expected. Evan's communicator grew hot in his hand as messages, signals, and live feeds poured in from across the planet. Emergency networks merged with civilian channels. News agencies broke every rule they had. Governments argued, but the arguments drowned under something stronger. People were talking directly to Lyra, not shouting, not threatening. Talking. Some asked who she was. Some asked why she came. Many asked if she was scared. A few simply said hello. Lyra stood very still beside Evan, her glowing patterns flickering softly across her skin. Her breathing slowed, then became uneven. This volume of emotional output is overwhelming, she said. Evan nodded. Yeah, we do that. Deep in orbit, the alien fleet adjusted formation. Long-range sensors recorded human behavior in real time. There was no unified command response, no instant military strike, no global shutdown. Instead, there were people standing on rooftops with signs, waving at the sky. We are here. We are listening. Don't take her.
Inside the lead alien vessel, the council watched in silence.
This is contamination, one voice said. It spreads rapidly.
It is uncontrolled, another replied.
But it is not hostile,
a third added. Back in the tunnel, the ground trembled again. This time not from scanning, but from something larger. But Evan felt it in his bones. They're here, he said.
Yes, Lyra replied. They will attempt retrieval. Can you talk to them? Evan asked.
I can,
she said. But they may not listen. Evan looked at the live feed still streaming. Then don't talk alone. He adjusted the communicator and widened the broadcast. Lyra turned sharply. Evan, trust me, he said quietly. The air in the tunnel shifted. Light bent strangely, and a tall shape formed at the far end. A projection, but powerful enough to make Evan's instincts scream. A figure appeared, taller than Lyra, less human in shape, its features smooth and unreadable. Lyra, the figure said.
You are out of position! I am where I chose to be,
Lyra answered. You have compromised containment protocols, the figure continued. Return immediately. Evan stepped forward before he could think better of it. She's not broken, he said. She's choosing. The figure's gaze shifted to him. Human.
You are interfering.
We do that too. The signal delay was barely noticeable, but Evan saw it. Hesitation.
Your species is unstable, the figure said. You form attachments without logic. You escalate risk.
Evan nodded.
True, and we still survive. Lyra took a step forward, her voice steady but emotional in a way Evan had never heard from her before. You studied humans from a distance, she said. You measured outcomes but ignored causes. They do not endure because they are efficient.
They endure because they connect. That connection creates vulnerability, the figure replied.
Yes, Lyra said. And strength. The feeds exploded with reactions. Humans watched the exchange live. Some cried. Some laughed in disbelief. Some held their children closer. A woman appeared on one screen, speaking softly.
We're not perfect?
But we care. Please don't punish her for learning that.
Another voice followed. She trusted us. That has to mean something. The alien figure paused again. This level of unified civilian response is statistically improbable, it said. Welcome to Earth, Evan muttered. Above the planet, several alien ships powered weapons, then powered them down again. No command was given. It simply did not happen. We do not understand you, the figure admitted. That's okay, Evan said. Most of us don't understand each other either. Lyra looked at him, then back at her people.
I do not request asylum, she said.
I request acknowledgement. Humans are not a threat to be isolated.
They are a variable to be respected. Silence followed. Long, heavy. The council exchanged internal signals at speeds humans could not perceive. Models recalculated. Predictions failed. Finally, the figure spoke. Retrieval operation is suspended, it said, pending further observation. A wave of relief swept through the tunnel and across the planet.
But understand this, the figure added. Your choice carries consequences. I know, Lyra said.
So does fear. The projection faded. Evan exhaled so hard his knees nearly gave out. He leaned against the wall, laughing breathlessly. I cannot believe that worked. Lyra looked at him, eyes shining brighter than before. You spoke when logic advised silence? Yeah, Evan said. That's our brand. Outside, alien ships remained in orbit, but their posture had changed. No longer hunters, watchers. Human governments scrambled to regain control of the narrative, but it was already gone. This was not theirs anymore. This belonged to everyone. In the tunnel, Lyra sat beside Evan, her energy clearly drained.
Are you okay?
He asked.
I am
changed, she said. I feel heavier and lighter. Congratulations, Evan said gently. You're human adjacent now. She smiled at that. Far above, alien observers recorded something new into their archives. Not a tactical note, not a warning. A question. What happens when a species refuses to let fear make its decisions? And for the first time, the answer did not look dangerous. It looked hopeful. The world did not go back to normal. That was the first thing Evan noticed when morning came. Sunlight filtered into the tunnel through cracks near the entrance, pale and quiet. The city above was awake, but it felt different, like everyone was holding their breath at the same time. Evan had not slept. Neither had Lyra. She sat across from him, knees drawn up slightly, watching the light with focused curiosity. I have seen many suns, she said softly. This one feels patient. Evan smiled tiredly. That's Earth. We wait a lot. The communicator on his wrist vibrated again. He ignored it for a moment. For once, the noise of the world could wait. Above them, the alien ships still hovered in orbit. Not hidden, not threatening. Just there, humanity could see them with the naked eye now. Bright shapes against the blue sky. Some people were afraid. Many were not. People talked. They always talked. In homes, in streets, online. Everywhere. About choice. About fear. About what it meant that an alien came to Earth not to conquer, but to care. Lyra shifted slightly. My people are still watching. I figured, Evan said.
They are uncertain, she continued. That almost never happens. Yeah, Evan replied.
We're good at breaking models. She looked at him. You did not plan this. Now, he said honestly.
I just didn't want you dragged away like a thing. That is why they are confused, Lyra said. You did not act to gain power.
You acted to protect, Evan shrugged. Felt right. The communicator buzzed again, more insistently this time. Evan finally looked. A message request appeared, not from a government channel, not from the military. From a global civilian forum.
They want to talk,
he said. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. To me? To both of us? Evan said. Together. He hesitated, then accepted. The screen filled with faces, not officials, ordinary people, scientists, teachers, workers, parents.
Children! No one shouted.
A man spoke first. Lyra, thank you for trusting us. A young girl waved at the camera.
You're pretty. Lyra froze, overwhelmed again. You are welcome. Evan watched her carefully.
She was processing something far larger than data. Something alive. An older woman spoke next. You chose us when you didn't have to. That matters. Lyra's voice trembled. My people fear this bond.
They believe it will weaken me. Did it? Evan asked gently.
She thought for a long moment. No, she said. It made me brave. That answer spread quickly. In orbit, alien observers flagged the word. Brave. It did not translate cleanly. They had concepts for courage, for calculated risk, for necessity. But this was something else. Action without certainty. Choice without safety. Human. Hours passed. Negotiations happened without formal rooms or flags. Ideas moved faster than orders. The alien council finally sent another signal. Not a projection this time, but an open channel. Lyra, the voice said. State your intent. She stood, posture straight but not rigid.
I intend to remain on Earth, as a liaison.
By choice? And the human? The voice asked.
Evan stiffened. I'm right here. He is not my handler. Lyra said firmly.
He is my example. Silence followed. Then the voice spoke again.
Earth will not be isolated. Evan let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. However, the voice continued, your species will be observed openly.
No shielding, no interference.
Fair, Evan said. We don't like secrets anyway. That was not entirely true, but it sounded good.
The ships in orbit shifted position, moving farther back. Not leaving, but giving space. It felt like trust. Days passed. Lyra moved into a secured but open facility near the city. Glass walls, not cages. Humans came to meet her in controlled groups. Not to demand answers, to listen, to share stories. She listened to them all. Evan stayed nearby, helping translate not language, but meaning. Explaining jokes, explaining sadness. Explaining why humans cried during happy moments. Lyra learned fast, faster than anyone expected. She learned that humans sang when they were afraid, that they laughed at pain sometimes, that they loved broken things. One evening, she stood with Evan on the facility balcony, watching the city lights turn on one by one. Your species does not optimize happiness, she said. Nope, Evan replied. We chase it and trip a lot. She looked thoughtful.
And yet, you persist. Stubborn, Evan said.
She smiled.
Yes, that too.
Messages began arriving from beyond Earth. Other species. Curious ones. Careful ones. They had seen the broadcasts. Seen humans choose vulnerability instead of force. Questions followed. Could humans be trusted? Lyra answered honestly. They will fail, she said. Often. But they will try again. Together, that answer traveled far. Evan's life never returned to what it was. He no longer fixed forgotten systems alone. He helped build bridges between minds, between worlds. Sometimes, late at night, he wondered why this all started with him. One night, he asked her, Lyra, he said, if you had landed somewhere else, would things be different? She looked at him, eyes reflecting the stars.
Yes! So why me? He asked again.
Because when faced with the unknown, you did not ask what it would cost you. You asked what it would cost me. Evan swallowed. That's just being human. That, she said softly, is exactly the point. Months later, historians would mark this moment as the beginning of humanity's true introduction to the galaxy. Not through conquest, not through fear. Through connection. They would say humans were dangerous. Not because of weapons or technology, but because they made others feel seen. And once that happened, no species ever looked at them the same way again. Standing side by side beneath an open sky, Evan and Lyra watched a future unfold that neither of them had planned. But both had chosen, and the galaxy would never forget that choice.